And we are live. Girl Magic Live is live. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're just going to give everybody a few minutes, a couple of minutes to get into our little live stream here. I mean, I know sometimes the notification bell goes off. It takes a while for somebody to pick up their phone or go into their device like, oh my goodness, they're live. Let's go, let's go. But welcome, everybody. Now, guess what? We need to build a vibe here, right? So if you're joining us live, please go to the live chat window, right? Click on live chat, go in and tell us, hey, say hello, say hi, tell us your name, tell us your ICHS house, okay? We are happy to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Drop your
Good
name.
Av. Sorry.
Oh, Dav? Okay, so I'm Rosa Lima, so already
Oh.
Dave and I are not on the same page with this one, Jade. I we didn't discuss this backstage. Big up all the Dominicans. Big up all of the folks in Rose of Lima. Big up, big up. Yes, welcome, welcome. Hey, Dev. Hey, Kimimora. These YouTube handles are strange, guys. I know your YouTube handle is not necessarily a real name, so it's all good. Don't laugh at me if I mispronounce it. But say hello, Fran Kimimora. Okay, big up all the Franciscans in the house. Teka with Dev. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome, guys. If you're joining us live, please DM, text, WhatsApp, call your friend, your classmate, whoever is in the same house as you, same team, whatever. ICHS, Girl Magic Live is live. Tell them to jump on. We're going to have an awesome conversation here tonight. This session is being recorded, so if you can't sit with us for the next hour and change, don't worry about it. You can go back and catch the replay, but there's more fun in the live still. Let's just keep it real because you get to drop your questions in the same live chat window for us to answer. So bring it. Yes, Tech. All right. Tech, okay, okay, okay. All right. See, Deb says, Jade, I told you I would join. Oh, we love to see the support, the sisterly support. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Welcome, welcome, everybody. We're happy to see ya. Now, remember, guys, first thing, you're going to hit that like button, okay? We don't start the conversation yet, but I'm telling you from now, it's going to be wicked. So just go ahead and hit the like button, because if you hit the like button, then it helps our channel to give it more visibility. The algorithm will give it some love, and we'll reach more people with our awesome content, right? So, and of course, you can hit the share button, and you can share the video as well. This live stream, yes, it's by the Immaculate Conception High School Alumni Association's Jamaica chapter, specifically through the Big Sister program. Hi, I'm Kerry-Ann Stimpson, Big Sister Officer with the ICHS Alumni Association. But anybody can join this live. This is called personal branding for teens. That's what we're talking about tonight. So anybody who is a teen, whether you go to Immaculate or not immaculate, it's okay. We won't judge you. We won't hold it against you. This topic is for you. So share this live, guys. Tell folks to jump on, drop something in the chat window, say hello, tell us your name, your ICHS house. But guess what? If you are not an ICHS student, that's fine. Just tell us the name of your school. It's all good. So we welcome all the teens them from all the schools across Jamaica, across the Caribbean, and hey, across the world, because this is YouTube, so anybody could be watching. Now, this lovely lady with me, I mean, she probably, for anybody who goes to Immaculate right now, she probably doesn't need any introduction, but let's not assume, because we have other people joining. We have alumni joining as well from in Jamaica and across the world. So I'm going to invite her to introduce herself.
Okay, good night, everyone. My name is Jade Dwyer. I am currently the second deputy head girl of the Immaculate Conception High School. Woo. I'm also a proud member of the Dominican House. I'm actually a house captain, so I bleed.
What? You are deputy head girl and house captain when you find time to do work.
Well,
Wow.
I'm also president of the debate society. I just like leadership
Oh
positions.
my
I
goodness.
do enjoy them, so it's really not much of a struggle for me to just manage them all.
Big up yourself, girl. That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm also very big on youth advocacy. I know that I believe that youth voices should most definitely be represented in every way, shape, or form. I'm also very familiar with the Constitution. So I know whenever people would be in violation of my rights. So I'm aware of my rights, but I also understand that as youth we have responsibility. And yeah, that's just me. I like to be in the know of current events that's happening in the world. I'm just a little, you know, for the lack of a better word at the moment, a little nerd when it comes to kind of political or I guess social events. That's my specialty. But yeah, that's just Jade Dwyer. That's just a tip of the iceberg because I'm quite multifaceted. So there are a
Wow.
bunch of different sides to Jade Dwyer, the individual.
Okay, so I'm not even going to talk about what I did when I was in high school because it's not even going to compare. But I mean, Janae is how you set me up with this awesome girl. Come sit down beside me. And I mean, she's just killing it. Jade, I love it. I love that you are clearly very self aware, know what you're about, you're involved, you're doing your thing. Welcome. Thanks for volunteering. I hope
No
you won't
problem.
regret
It
it
was
when
a
you're done.
pleasure.
But thanks for volunteering to be a part of this conversation and to co-host and kind of co-host and super host this live stream. I know we're going to have a great time. And again, I just want to welcome everybody. Guys, remember to drop your name, ICHS hosts, in the chat. Or if you're not an ICHS student, drop the name of your school in the chat. It's all good. We welcome everybody. If you're an alum and you dare to say what year you graduated, do that too. I'm not telling you what year I graduated from Immaculate, but I went to Immaculate and I have the diploma on my wall behind me to prove it. So we're all legit, but yeah, everything. Go, Jade! All right, love it, man. Deb is your fan. I'm just saying, I want a fan like Deb in my life. I'm just saying. So yes, guys. So we're gonna have a great conversation. Remember, share this video, call, text, WhatsApp, DM everybody, tell them to jump into this conversation. Yes, it's being recorded, but there's always more fun in the live because you get to ask your questions in the live chat window. So I know I'm going to kind of take a different role in this conversation because I'm actually the panelist that's going to talk about this. So okay, so apart from the fact that I went to Immaculate,
Mhm.
the point is that I actually know in my life I am a marketer, right? So I am the chief marketing officer, group chief marketing officer of GMMB,
Ooh.
Jamaica, or it used to be called Jamaica Money Market Brokers. Now it's JMMB. So there's JMMB Bank, JMMB Investments. So I'm head of marketing for JMMB Group. So I've been a marketer now for over 20, just about 20 years, 2021 years. So I know a lot about marketing and branding in that sense for company brands, but from a personal brand perspective, at nighttime, I am a podcaster. I have my very own podcast. I
Ooh.
produce it, I host it, I edit it, I post it, and it's called the Internal Marketing Podcast. Right now, I mean, it's not popular locally because it's actually most of my audience is in North America, but it's really fun to have my own podcast, meet and interview people from all over the world. And of course, I do a lot of my social media content on LinkedIn. So right now I have a respectable, like about 13,000 followers on LinkedIn in the main. And I do a little tips of appearances on Instagram. But the whole matter of branding and building a personal brand, especially as a marketer, as a podcaster, and as a manager of people and somebody who interviews people for jobs and assesses them for career opportunities, I love this topic, so I'm excited to talk about it. So I am going to now change my hat, right? Let's big up all of the people who are just saying hello in the chat. Hey, Hannah, what's going on? Kishana, what's up? Davidica
Kishana
again
says
in the
one
house.
dab, as she should.
One dab. Okay. All right. Yeah. Because Jade is on the live, we can big up Rosalima still. Just saying. But yeah, big up, big up. All right. One in Max, see that too. All right. Loving it. Yes, guys. So
One
please
Mac.
drop, say hello in the chat. Tell your friends to jump on board. And now we are going to flip switches to get into tonight's topic, which is personal branding for teens, aka teenagers, whether you are female, male, or whatever. Once you're a teenager, personal branding. So, Jade, over to you.
Okay, thank you. So I know for a fact that the big thing when a teenager enters high school is first, though, they have two things. What am I going to do now? And the second thing is, how am I going to build myself up to prepare myself for the working environment when I leave? And sometimes, we don't really have, I don't want to say, someone that's there that can explicitly tell you, hey, this is what you can do and this is what you can do to lay that foundation so that you can be adequately prepared. So I wanted to ask you, from your experience, what is a personal brand?
That's a great question, great way to start, and I'll just simplify it as best as I can. Your personal brand is really about your reputation, right? So if you're from the older school, they used to say reputation, your personal reputation. Nowadays, it's a little bit more sexy to say personal brand, because it's really also not just about your reputation, but how you show up, especially in the digital space, right? So you're talking about, how do you show up on social media? How do people know you? What do they associate with you when they call the name Jade, Jade Dwyer, what do they know Jade to be? All of that feeds into defining your personal brand. So your personal brand is your reputation. And yeah, that's how I think, if we can just equate those two, you'll automatically get what a personal brand is. It's your reputation and how you show up, how people see you, perceive you, and what they know of you to be.
Well, thank you for answering that question so greatly. I feel like you've adequately outlined exactly what is a personal brand. And I think it kind of also underliningly states why it's important. So now that we're going into that, I just wanted to kind of shift a little bit your focus to why is it important to teens, because sometimes some teenagers will be like, but I'm just 14 years old, why should I care about building my brand? Why is that important now? Why don't I wait till I'm 22 to start focusing on, building brand name? Like, why should I, Jade Dwyer, why should I, Jade Dwyer, start building brand Jade Dwyer? Why should I not wait until I'm like 21 years old? So I would like to ask you, why is it important for teenagers to start building their personal brands from now?
So I'm going to start out with answering that question by sharing what I always like to use as a little anecdote, right? So again, I'm not going to say what year I graduated Immaculate from, nor am I going to say my age, right? But let's just say that when I was at Immaculate, when I was just growing up as a teenager and transitioned to university, college, whatever, I used to get up to all kind of crap and mess. I used to get up to all kind of stuff. But guess what? At my old age right here now, you would never know what that crap was, because there's no record of it anywhere. Because there was no social media, there were no cameras all over the place. There was no, oh, you're at a party and somebody in front of you is doing a selfie and they happen, or a live stream video, and they happen to be standing in front of you and they catch all the people behind you, including you. So you don't even know, which actually happened to me Carnival the other day. My husband was watching a video of his friend. She was doing a live selfie stream of herself on IG, and I didn't know. And I'm standing behind her dancing up a storm. And by the time I got home the night, he could tell me who I was dancing with and what song, because he saw it on her live stream.
Right? So is it that you're saying that because of the advancement of technology and the introduction of social media, it has become even more important for us to develop our personal brands from this stage, from high school?
Exactly. And even if you don't want to actively develop it, recognize that you're going to get a personal brand from now, whether you like it or not, simply because of the record keeping that exists, because of the digital world that we live in, which is social media, but it's also television as well. I mean, right now you can do an appearance on TVJ, you can do an interview on Smile Jamaica, and it's not only on the TV square, in your house, but it's also on YouTube. They're going to put a clip of it on Instagram. They're going to probably put it on LinkedIn. The point is that anywhere where there is content to be consumed or captured digitally, you can show up there sometimes, whether you like it or not. And so you really do have to think about from now why it's so important to remember that, because how you show up, there can be a record kept of it. And I know we're going to get into that later, but it's so important to be aware that, this is where we're at and this is where we live in. So teenagers can't divorce themselves from the fact that, oh, I can do whatever I want now. And when I'm 22, and I in college or I've graduated from college looking for a job, then I can start caring about how I show up on my IG account or what I post on TikTok. No, because all of the previous records, all the previous posts will be there somewhere, and somebody can see it, form an opinion, classify you in a particular way that could negatively impact your career journey or whatever opportunities you want to take advantage of. So it's super important to recognize that.
And I understand this well because, especially when you talk about persons who recruit from HR departments and a lot of businesses, they do background checks on you. So they check what you've been doing on your social media presence. And, if there's something that you have done in the past, even if it's far back in the past, that doesn't align with what they stand for, their vision or their mission, that can greatly impact how they view you. Also, it can impact you being employed. So I do understand where you say it's from now. The time is now to start curating your presence, your brand. Because I'm pretty sure if I did not have, I'd want to say, if I represented myself differently on the internet, I don't think I would have achieved as much as I have before, as I have now.
Interesting.
Because my mother actually has been telling me from the get-go that I have to be careful of what you do on social media, because that can reflect poorly or well on your behalf for the rest of your life. Because regardless of how much you try, you can't erase what you put up. Once you put that post up, once you put that message up, once you put up that status update, that's it. You can't take it back.
Exactly.
You can't take it back. It's irreversible. So
exactly.
I understand.
Posts can be deleted, but screenshots are forever.
Screenshots. Oh my God. Screenshots.
We're going to get into that later. We're going to get into that. But yeah.
Screenshots really, especially in our day and age, the kids these days aren't scared to just start screenshotting things. So even if you think you deleted it, somebody has evidence of it on their phones.
Yes,
and this happens all the time. I see so many cases over the internet where people lose their college. People who were accepted into colleges, they end up getting rejected because of somebody sending in something that they said in the past. So, curating your brand starts from now, and we have to ensure that if we want to be successful, and I know we want to be successful, we have to be mindful of what we put on the internet. So going into that, what are 7 steps that teenagers can take to start building their personal brand, especially in the digital space, seeing that, your digital appearance poses so much importance on how people view you, especially in the career space?
Well, let's jump right into it, So the first thing is, and I think we've already started to kind of get into this segment of the conversation, when first of all, the first tip is to change your mindset and recognize that your personal brand starts now, right? So we're talking primarily to ICHS students on this live in this video, but whichever school you go to, whether you're in first form or grade 7, or you're in grade 13, upper 6, whatever you call it, wherever you are now, change your mindset and recognize that personal branding starts for you now. It doesn't start, as you said, Jade, when you're 22 and about to leave college trying to find your first job or to start your first business. It starts now. So it's shifting your mindset to recognize that your personal brand building journey starts from tonight. And I know there's an action item coming up at the end of this conversation, but it starts tonight. Change your mindset. Your personal brand starts now. That's the first tip. Mindset shift.
I think that is really important because, as I said before, a lot of people don't view it as important to start building building their personal brand from now. But as I said before, a lot of the opportunities that I was presented with, if I didn't put so much effort into building who I am, especially digitally, because I check like 5 times of what I put up before I put it up, because, obviously you also have to account for people interpreting what you say in a completely different way than you intended to. So you have to also account for all of the possibilities. So it's really important that we do that starting right now. And we have to also understand that, as I said before, what you do now can still impact you further down in life. So
yes, ma'am.
yeah, that's really important.
Absolutely.
So, what is step two?
All right. So, step two, tip number two is live like the camera is always on, right? So, we spoke first about mindset shift and recognizing that we need to shift our mindset to recognize that because of the world we live in and the digital world that we live in, and how digital content is being created everywhere, and pictures and videos are being taken of us unknowingly, for this tip, it's live like the camera is always on. You are never not on show. And I mean, when I share this tip, Jade, I mean, I have a bit of heaviness in my heart because, as I said earlier, I recognize that when I was a teenager, I could make a ton of mistakes. And now, all these years later, as an adult, I can forget about them and don't even stress about them because there was not a record of them kept anywhere because we never had the digital content creation machinery that exists now in 2023. And so, to say to teenagers who still are trying to figure it out themselves, to say that they need to live like the camera is always on because what you do today could impact you tomorrow, it's difficult because you want people to also feel like they can make a mistake or they can make a decision that probably they'd have to change their mind maybe a couple months or years down the road. And there's nothing wrong with that. But ultimately, we can't get away from the fact that this is just the world we live in. The camera is always on us. We step out of Immaculate's gate. There are street cameras on the traffic light, you know what I mean, catching us crossing the street, catching the bus. As I said, people are doing selfies, taking pictures of themselves in a public place, and it's up their head, but all the crowd of people behind them are caught in the picture unknowingly, and they end up on Instagram and didn't even know. It's that's just the world we live in. So it's so important to live like the camera is on. So carry yourself with dignity and respect, right? Respect others in how you engage with them. You know what I mean? What you're doing out in public. If you want to keep something in the privacy of your bedroom with no cameras or devices on, then that's your business. But once you step out of your space, you are in front of a camera, you're in front of some device that's capable of recording your movements, your voice, your audio, your image, and you just got to be cognizant of that. So live like the camera is always on. It is what it is.
That one is a hard truth because sometimes even though you might think you're the most outcast, most hidden person ever, but there's always someone or some people that will have their eye on you. Now, it's not like we're not saying that you won't have room for mistakes. We're humans, and part of growing is making mistakes, right? What's it? I can't remember. Um, there was this thing where it says fail first attempt in life. That's what failing is. So that's what mistakes are. It's your first attempt in life. So we're not saying that you can't fail or you can't make mistakes because, once again, you're only human. You're not artificial intelligence. You're not a robot. But at the same time, you have to be cognizant of your interactions with others and how you present yourself. Because sometimes that one thing that you said on a whim to somebody can come back and bite you later down in the years. And that can even, for example, you could have said something mean to someone,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Mm-hmm.
person carried that for years and brought it to the internet. And that can obviously blemish
Mm-hmm.
your brand. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to live like the camera is always watching, meaning that you have to be cognizant. You have to be hyper aware of what you're doing. Every move has to be calculated. Now, sometimes it's hard to make being calculated sound as if it's a bad thing. It's not a
Yeah.
bad thing to be
Mm-hmm.
calculated. You just need
Mm-hmm.
to understand that whenever you're doing something, regardless of the situation that you're in, you have to
Mm-hmm.
know that there are obviously going to be adverse reactions, and there's obviously a time where if you said something bad to someone or did something bad to someone, that there's a possibility that will bite you in the future.
Yeah.
So you just have to be very cognizant of what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is what it is, guys. Ladies, it is what it is.
All right, so what is step three?
All right. Step three, tip number three is to use your devices responsibly. And believe me when I tell you, nothing disappears. Nothing disappears. And earlier this year, I had a big sister visit with a grade 8 class, or was it grade 7? One of them. But anyway, we were talking about using devices responsibly, and that whatever content you create, whether you're posting something on social media, or even if you're just sharing something in a DM or in a WhatsApp chat, even a one-on-one chat, nothing disappears. And there was somebody that said, no, but you can do single view only, right? You can send a video in WhatsApp, single view only, picture, video, it's encrypted. They give you this nice message in WhatsApp that everything is encrypted and they can't access it and da 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 da. So if I do single view only, I'm good, right? And I'm like, okay, so here's the hack to that. This is me. I have two cell phones. This is my personal cell phone. This is my company cell phone. I can send a single view only pic from my work WhatsApp to my personal WhatsApp. Let's just say I was sending it to someone else, or someone sent me a single view only to my work phone. I open it and I take my personal phone and I snap a picture of the screen on the other cell phone with that single view. So before the single view closes, I already have a copy of what was shared with me on a completely different phone that I can take and send to anybody anywhere in the world that I want to, right? And the person who sent the single view was thinking, oh, I'm safe and protected. It's single view. So once they open it, it's done. I can forget about it. I don't need to worry about it. No, absolutely not. Nothing disappears. Recognize that. I mean, we were talking earlier about the whole point about screenshots are forever. You can always delete posts. So, I mean, it's now X. It used to be Twitter. People were big. Oh, a since deleted tweet said da 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 da. Why?
Yes.
Because 10 people already screenshot the thing, right? It's out there. It's already screenshot. It's on the news. It's on TMZ. It's on YouTube.
And that's exactly what I was thinking of, because a lot
Yes.
of times, especially with this new phenomenon we like to call cancel culture, a lot of times these celebrities end up being canceled because they posted something. It could be on a burner account, it could be wherever, it could have been this old account that they've had since grade 6. And they said something so demeaning about a marginalized group of persons, and they ended up being canceled, and they didn't think, oh, I just deleted that. I deleted that tweet, or I deleted those tweets, or I deleted that account. No one will be able to find it or find me. But also, there are people who are really good at coding. They will hack and find it. So
They
it's
will.
really that hard. If there's a will, there's a way, and usually there's a will for those people to find a way. So it's not like anything. Even if you're 100% certain that you have deleted that post, or you have deleted that tweet, or you deleted that status update, somebody will find a way to get it back. Somebody has evidence of it. Somebody has record of what you're doing. So you really, as I said before, you really have to be calculated. You have to move. You have to know what you're doing all the time, 100%
And
of the time.
when you think about it too, Jade, and we're not even talking about social media, you could lose your phone.
That's true too.
You just lose your phone, and somebody can get in that phone and take out all of the cutesy pics that you took of yourself that you thought no one would see. And before you know it, somebody else has those pics and they're being posted all over, and you have no control. You can file lawsuits after the fact, and you can sue them for defamation and cybercrime and da 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 da. All of that can be done, but that's after the fact. So you would have been put through the ringer. You would have gone through the pain and the humiliation if you hadn't just posted something or taken a piece of content in the first place.
And yesterday I was actually watching junior school challenge quiz, and there's this idiom that they use, that they said an ounce of prevention equates to a pound of cure. So a lot of the times, after the fact that we've done something, we're trying to scramble for curative measures. But it's always the most important thing, regardless if it's scientific or if it's actual lifestyle things. It is always important for you to prevent something bad from happening, rather than you trying to, fix it up after the fact, after the damage has been done.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's best to just steer away from that kind of thing from the get-go. Prevent that from happening. Prevent that possibility. So you won't need to find a curative measure so that
That's
you
right.
have to eradicate that or whatever measures people put in place whenever something incriminating about them is posted online.
That's right. That's right.
All right, on to step 4. What is step 4 saying?
Okay, so for step 4, tip 4, this is a specific recommendation for people who are what we call graduands, right? So this is not you, Jade, because you've graduated already. You've
Wow.
graduated high school. But the graduands, as opposed to the graduates, the graduands are the people who are eligible for graduation. So these are like your grade 11, fifth form students who are just about there. They know that graduation is coming up, and after June, they will be a graduate, all being well. So this tip is for them. So this would apply to grade 12 and 13 as well. Start owning your digital real estate. What is your digital real estate? Your digital real estate comprises of really the tags, the account names, the URLs that are named after you, right? So I don't know if you recall, well, this was several years ago, so you guys are probably still in prep school then. But when the big athletes like Usain Bolt and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price started to burst on the scene, and that first Olympics, which I think was probably Beijing way back when in the early 2000s, and they burst on the scene and they were breaking records, and that first Olympics was like, oh
Yeah,
my God, all these
2008. Was
people.
it? No,
Yeah, about that. Yeah, man, wrote that time. And you know what happened before the Olympics ended? Some of those athletes who went to the Olympics and did so well and started now instantaneously became household names because of their performance and their medals. Some unscrupulous people just went on to like a GoDaddy.com and bought the URLs in their names. So I don't know if it happened to Usain Bolt, but like somebody bought the URL for Usain Bolt, by way of an example, or they would have bought the URL for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, ShellyAnnFraserPrice.com, UsainBolt.com, Aileen Bailey, she just got married the other day.com, Veronica Campbell-Brown.com. Somebody went and bought the URLs of these people's names, right? And of course, no. So when they went to I know for one of the or two of the athletes, when they went to claim their URL, they had to buy their URL, which is their name. They had to buy their named URL from those people who went and bought it for $20, sold it to them for thousands of dollars, right? Because that's what a URL is. A URL is not like a birth certificate. I don't need to prove that I am Jade Dwyer for me to go and purchase the rights to own jadedwyer.com. I don't. I just need to check if it's available. If it's available, I say, okay, GoDaddy, I back up my credit card and I buy it. So that's why I'm recommending to graduands or even new graduates, own your real estate. Go on LinkedIn, create a LinkedIn profile, create your Twitter or your X profile, create a TikTok profile, create an Instagram profile with your name or a recognizable derivative of your name. So on Instagram, I am Kerry-Ann Stimpson as opposed to Kerry-Ann. I don't use TikTok, but I got a TikTok handle. I don't really post on X anymore, but I got a handle on Twitter /X, X need Twitter, right? And of course, I have my LinkedIn account. I also have my own website, Kerry-Ann Stimpson. And the thing is, why that's important is that that's your real estate. You can own it. You don't have to post content yet. You don't have to do anything with it. You just have to own it, maintain it, keep looking in on it to make sure that it exists and nobody's hacking it. But it's good to have your real estate because once you start now to recognize that I want to start building a brand and I want to start posting, I want to start showing up, you would have had the real estate because you claimed it and no one can come ahead of you and claim it for you. So that's my recommendation.
Ooh, I'll take heed to that one.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. So let us move on to step 5. What's step 5 talking about?
All right. Step 5. Now, my recommendation for step 5, and this is for people who post stuff. So whether you have a blog that you post wherever on whatever platform or website or a podcast, or you're just posting on good old social media, TikTok, IG, whatever, start how you want to finish, right? And I'll tell you a little story. There is this lady that I used to follow on IG, and she was a beautician, esthetician, and decided to transfer into the corporate space to become a corporate something. I don't know what her role is, but big corporate space. So basically, she took off her beautician's coat and put on a suit. But what was interesting is that her Instagram account, most of it was her in bikinis. And she
Oh.
looked gorgeous. She has a gorgeous body, nice curves. And I guess she knew that, and the men knew that too. And she would get thousands of followers in her bikini. When she transitioned to corporate and she got into a role in corporate where she had to engage with big corporate clients paying millions of dollars for services, she's an account executive doing work. She had to clean and scrub that Instagram account and
Mhm.
take off all the bikini pics and replace it with suits, right? But what happens is that it created kind of like a paradigm shift for her personality, her online personality, her personal brand, because the people who started to follow her first were following her for her bikini. And when she translated into the corporate space and she started to replace it with suits or her with a cup of coffee at her desk or whatever, it really created a lot of contention. And she still had the cloud of the girl in the bikini as her personal brand and had a difficult time being taken seriously as the corporate account executive. And I use that story as an example for this tip for that reason. Start how you want to finish, right? If you want to be taken seriously as a woman and respected accordingly, don't start posting pics that are going to make you be perceived to be loosey goosey or demeaning, right? Because you can take down those posts, screenshots are forever. People will misinterpret who you are. You will attract the wrong kind of icky people who will start DMing you and sending you stuff and commenting on your stuff. You really don't want to get into that mess. So there are things we do as teenagers when we say, I want to get the likes, I want to get the engagement, so I'm going to post myself in a bikini in the grill because it's great. No. Start how you want to finish. I hope that's clear.
Yeah, I understood that clearly.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so sometimes, some of us, there's a weird thing. So, a large thing, a huge new thing. Well, it's not really new because it's been happening since I was in grade 7 and I'm in grade 13. That's still sinking that I'm in grade
No,
13.
wow, wow. You're doing great.
Where a lot of students, especially the ones that go, especially the males, they
Mm-hmm.
would like pose with gun signs or gang signs, and it right now they'll think it's all fun and everything, but later on that's kind of not the thing you want to be affiliated with if you're trying to break into the job market. If you're trying to seek employment, that's not really what you want to be represented as, a vagabond, a gang member, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important that you start how you want to finish. So if you want to be the Prime Minister of Jamaica, then you start setting up your profile like the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Even if this might not be the profile you use in the future, because a lot of times people move to a different one, but people can still find your old one. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very important that you do start how you want to finish. So especially a lot of my friends, because I do debating, so I know other persons that debate. And if you
Mm-hmm.
see their profiles, it's so wow. They're always in suits and they take pictures of them if they're ever in parliament or if they're representing their school at a debate outside the country or etc. You can tell that they're setting up their profiles for basically what they want, which would be either, I guess, you know um furthering their debating skills or even entering leadership positions.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's important that you start out how you want to finish.
Yeah.
That point was very important.
Yeah, man, very
So
important.
let's move on to step number 5. Tip number 5.
Okay, we just did 5, so we're gonna do
Oh,
6 now. Hush,
pause.
no, it's okay. It's a long list, so don't worry about it. It's a long list.
I swore that I was saying 6.
Yeah, yeah, because they're so
My
close
brain was
together.
saying 6 and my mouth was
Yeah,
saying 5.
No,
But
man,
yeah.
don't worry about it. It is
All right,
what it
my
is.
apologies. Let's move on to step number 6.
Right. So this recommendation I put out there because I think it's a great way for, again, probably people in the upper school, especially who are now preparing for university, preparing for college. It's a way to get your feet wet, especially in the social media space on a great platform like LinkedIn, where you want to now start to meet and engage with people in your industry as you start to think about what career you want to be in. And it's engaging with thought leadership content, right? So, for instance, if you go on a platform like LinkedIn, but even on IG, you have a few folks too. They're known as thought leaders in their industry. I'm not talking about the people who do these viral videos and get awesome likes because they're saying stuff that's salacious or controversial. No, I'm talking about people who are like respected authors, university professors, corporate executives who are known to have a great track record of leadership and success. If they're posting content on LinkedIn or on Instagram, leave a thoughtful comment under their post, right? Add value, share your thoughts, ask a question, engage with them. Because what that does is, first of all, it helps you to start to be seen, right? So if you see Harvard professors online sharing content and you start to comment under their stuff, it helps you to be seen, especially if you're leaving a thoughtful comment. Not, oh, great post. No, I'm talking about adding a thoughtful comment, something that really demonstrates that you're thinking, that you find what they've shared to be valuable, and it helps you to be seen, right? Because that's what personal branding is and building your reputation is. It's making sure that your reputation is being built in a way in front of the people that will help you on your journey to get to where you need to go. So start engaging with their content by liking and commenting thoughtfully so that you start building relationships, you get seen, and you start to benefit from the exchange of conversation that's happening under the accounts of these wonderful people who are doing great things across the world.
I think this one is very important because I actually have done this before. So
Great.
last was it? It was earlier this year for International Women's Day. I held a workshop, and it was sectioned based on each section of school. So upper school, lower school, all of that. So actually, for me to get the persons, I've had to obviously state to the persons that I was inviting because I did manage to get the youngest senator, Gabriela Morris of the People's National Party.
Wow.
So obviously, I had to state my interest. I had to say, well, I'm very inspired because first of all, she's a woman in leadership, and you know, I need that kind of inspiration because it tends to be dominated by males. So it was nice to see. It was very refreshing to know that someone so young, but also someone that is a woman, could be able to achieve such a great feat. So when I reached out to her, that was why I was able to actually get her to speak on the day. And she spoke so, oh wow, I'm still in awe to this
I
day.
can
It's been
imagine.
a
I
couple of
can
months.
imagine.
It's been a couple of months, but the way that she carried herself, it's kind of something that I want to embody, and I also would like other young women to embody. So definitely when you engage with these persons, another time this happened as well was when I was doing my head girl campaign. I fashioned it um off of the guild president of UE Mona, who is currently Amalora Wilson. And I reached out to her. I said, "Hi, did you know that you actually inspired my entire campaign?"
Who
She
doesn't like
inspired
to hear
and
that?
she actually responded. So, it's
Yes,
yeah, she actually responded, which
of course.
I was fangirling. I geeked
Yeah.
out the entire night because I think it's also good to expose yourself to this because I mean if you want to really whatever you want to do, it's best to expose yourself from now. So I knew from off the bat that I was going to run for a head girl. So it was something that was in the books from I made it. I'm like, this is what I want.
Of
And so
course.
I exposed myself to those kinds of persons so that obviously I can see, okay, so this is what this person is doing. This is how they made it. I'm going to see how I'm going to put it in, but also make it, align with me. because I also don't really want to I don't want to entirely copy their personality, because at the end of the day my individuality is most important. But at the same time, it was important to just look at these figures and embody what they're doing, but make it my own. And yeah, that's really, again, why I'm here
Yeah,
today.
that's it. And you know what your story shows? Well, first of all, I'm not surprised you responded, because when you write to someone and say, you inspired me, who wouldn't want to respond to that? And I mean, yeah, I know you have the mega celebrities like a Beyonce. She gets like a gazillion DMs or comments a day, so she can't keep track. But I'm talking about someone, as you say, like the senator or a university student who is ahead of you doing great things. What social media has done, and just content creation online in general, is it's leveled the playing field for you to be able to interact with people who are outside of your town, outside of your country. I spoke earlier, my podcast, 51% of the listeners of my podcast are based in the United States, then Jamaica, then Canada, then UK. In fact, on Spotify, the number one country listenership that I have on Spotify is, get this, in Peru. Okay,
Peru.
Peru, en español. My podcast is not in Spanish, okay? But it just goes to show you there are some folks in Peru who are fanning on my podcast, and they love it and they know my face. So, and that's what social media has done. It's leveled the playing field. So step out there, engage, have the conversation, give a thoughtful comment. It can really help you to be seen and to, yeah, start building relationships with great people.
Yes, that's
All
true.
right.
All right, moving on to the final step, step 7.
Step 7, tip number 7. And these are for my lower school peeps. So I know we spent a couple of previous tips for the graduands and the graduates. But for the lower school, I'm going to recommend, and it's probably going to sound counterintuitive to the topic that we're talking about, but I'm going to recommend that you minimize your social media presence, right? And I say this to say simply because it's stage of life, right? What we're seeing now, especially from a safety perspective and an online safety and security perspective, is that there are a lot of unscrupulous people out there who are preying on our teenagers. And I'm talking particularly 15 years and younger, right? Because that's the stage where you're still trying to figure a lot of stuff out. Your confidence levels are not very high, right? And you're just trying to get your feet wet, you're on. And then what you have is you have these predators who have all kinds of strategies to get into your head, get into your DMs, get you to do stuff that can be totally annihilating to your confidence, to your psyche, and to your personal brand/reputation, right? And what's also happening is identity theft, people
Oh,
taking recordings of your voice online, right? And then using AI to do scams like sending your parents a phone call in your voice saying that, hey, mommy, there's something wrong. Someone has kidnapped me. They want a ransom. And your mother has a stroke and she's sending money all over the place. I mean, that's what's happening. These scammers are going on social media and targeting our young teenagers. And so my suggestion is limit your social media presence. And again, some parents and some kids think, oh, well, my account is private, so I'm good. Screenshots are forever. You may just have 10 followers. All you need is one rogue follower to screenshot your stuff and send it and share it to whomever, well-intentioned maybe, and then it just takes one unscrupulous person to thief somebody's phone, catch those screenshots, and do all kind of crap with it. So if you can minimize for now your social media presence, if you want to lurk, be a lurker. Follow other people's stuff. Don't like it, just follow it. Lurk and learn and grow and be there in anonymity until when you get to upper school and you start to step out and you say, okay, I want to start building my brand because I'm looking about college applications and that sort of thing. But don't be in a rush to get out there with your social media presence for the lower schoolers, your grades 7, 8, and 9, especially first to third form.
that is so true. Actually, the funny thing is that I did my SBA for communication studies and how
Mm,
online communication affects or youth. And first of all, it can affect how you view yourself. It affects self-image. It can affect how you present yourself, because First of all, and that can be a good and a bad thing because, obviously there's always a good side and a bad side to everything.
Yeah,
Yin
yeah,
yang.
as
It's
always,
very
yeah.
yin yang. Social media is very yin yang. So on one end, you can you can have a lot of positive influences, and obviously that can make you present yourself a certain way. But on the other end, a lot of teenagers, they don't have a lot of positive influences on that they can develop a good moral compass of on the internet. So they can obviously post some things that, won't be beneficial to them in the future, among other issues that, as you said before, now they're more prone to pedophilic action because
Mhm.
sadly we're not the only ones roaming social media. So are criminals. So we
Oh,
have to be very, very, very careful. And we obviously don't want children, because they're children, we don't want them to be exposed to that sort of thing so young or ever.
yeah.
So it would be best, I do recommend this as well, that you just stay off of social media, especially
Mhm.
because full brain development, and this is just scientific. First of
Mhm.
all, your brain development isn't completed until you're 25,
Oh,
much
wow.
less when you're 14. So,
Jade is
or when you're
preaching.
so you obviously you can make a decision at 12 years old, and then you're now 16 and you're like, why did I do that? So just to
Hmm.
avoid regret, it's just, as I said before, you know, an ounce of prevention equates to a
Yes.
pound of
Pound
cure.
of cure. Yes, ma'am.
So you need to just chill off social media for a second. And there are other things you can enjoy in life. This might be the most cliche thing ever to say, but read a book. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you can
yeah,
read a book. I
yeah,
enjoy reading the Percy Jackson series. You can also
yeah,
enjoy reading Harry Potter or whatever else. I'm just a
yeah.
fantasy person. There are many different genres. You can
Right,
read a book. You
right.
can,
Or
or
you
you don't
can
even,
binge YouTube. I'm a
you
big
can be.
YouTube
Oh,
binger. In
I'm
fact,
a
I
big
think I watch
YouTube
more
too.
YouTube than I watch TV. I
I've
love
been
YouTube.
watching I've been watching a lot of YouTube since I was
Mhm,
6. So
mhm. So
you
binge
know,
that,
and they're always there. The so as I said before, it's yin yang with social media.
Hmm.
So there is a good side.
Yeah,
Obviously, you don't need to be using social media like Instagram, Twitter, and those type of platforms. You can use YouTube. You can play games online. So
yeah,
there are many other things that you can use the internet for. But as of right
absolutely.
now, just to ensure that you don't affect your personal brand, because as I said before, things that you do now can reflect poorly on you later,
Right,
depending on
right.
what you do. So
Exactly.
just to avoid that regret, because I know for a fact that in the night, in the middle of my sleep, I'll wake up and just think about something that I did 5 years ago and be like, why did I do that? So
Mhm.
just to lessen the rate of that, it's best that you stay off of social media. Well, not stay off, we're not saying that you can't
Mhm.
be on there, but just,
Mhm.
you just minimize your presence so that
Yeah.
obviously anything that you didn't do wouldn't affect
Mhm.
you. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. There we go. As a matter of fact, I can tell you, as a mom, I'm the mom of a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. I don't even post my kids on social media. If I
Mm.
happen to post a pic with them in it, I blur their face because, again, I'm just trying to protect their image and likeness from the unscrupulous repurposing by scammers and other online con artists, at the end of the day. And guess what? Don't worry about FOMO. As I said, you can binge watch YouTube. I mean, my 10-year-old knows everything that's happening on TikTok. Is she posting on TikTok? No, she's not posting. Her picture isn't there. There's nothing there about her, but she knows what's going on. So she can tell you all the latest, who's dating who or whatever, whatever. And I think it's fun. So you can stay in the know. So there doesn't need to be FOMO, but don't put yourself out there is what we're saying. Don't be in a hurry to do that because you're still learning, you're still growing, and you don't want your image to be out there and become the potential victim. I'll just share a quick story of what's a phenomenon that's happening in the States is that these kids who are on social, teenagers, usually between the ages of 12 and 15, a girl will reach out to them in the DMs, right? Oh, your picture is so cute. I saw your IG page or whatever, whatever. And then they build this relationship in the DMs on IG. And the girl, after a couple of weeks of intense engagement and trust, she sends a picture of what could be her naked body. And she says, I've shown you mine. Could you show me yours? Right?
Ooh.
And mostly boys, they send a picture of their naked self, including their member down the bottom, below the waist. And once that girl got the picture, she reveals herself to be a scammer. And she says, I have this picture and I can blast it and share it all over the place until you pay me a ransom or unless you pay me a ransom of $1,000. right? And these teenagers, they don't have $1,000 US. Are you kidding me? So they get maybe $100 from their dad's account or whatever, and they're like, look, all I can give you is 300. I don't have 1,000. And the scammers don't stop, and they press and they press. And in the last year alone, they've had maybe about just under 20 cases of suicide, where these boys chose to kill themselves rather than suffer the humiliation of the risk of their genitals being put online. That's what's going on. That's the world we live in. And
Yep.
these boys, 15 years old, 14 years old, were just on social media going about their business, and the wrong person snuck into their DMs and made themselves vulnerable. And that's it. So that's what I'm saying. Let's just keep safe, Scroll, lurk, just lurk. Don't get involved. Lurk privately. Don't put no pictures. Don't engage. Just lurk. And
And
you have
also be very cautious of like DMs that you get, because some of the DMs I've gotten are
oh,
crazy.
yes, girl. Wait
So,
till you get past 25.
oh
Heck,
dear.
wait till you get to my middle-aged cougar stage of life.
Oh
They get
no.
even more saucy. They get very spicy. Can't bring that up on this live stream. Trust me, girl. They're
Oh dear.
terrible.
So
Terrible.
just for your safety, even I still exercise this one to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really answer DMs from people I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have to verify that I know you to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I haven't seen you in person or I haven't breathed in your presence, then I don't deem you worthy of my DM answer. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just something I need, because anything can happen. And another thing is that, don't make yourself too vulnerable over the internet, because at the end of the day, it's a bunch of wires. And
Mm-hmm.
especially because of this, the internet has further propagated globalization, and now it's a global market. So the world is smaller, not in terms
Mm-hmm.
of size, but in terms of accessibility.
Yeah.
So something that you think that is so minuscule here can impact somebody all the way in, I guess, Samoa. So you
Mm-hmm.
just need to be very careful of what you're putting out there. And
Yeah.
also, just for your sake, just minimize the social media presence until
Yeah.
you're 125%, not as 100, but 125% sure that this is what you want to be representing. And the problem
Exactly.
is that humans change. So this thing might not even what you want to represent in the future, because this will
Yeah.
keep you up at night. It
Yeah.
will. You can just
Yeah.
randomly think of, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And the
Yeah.
regret will just flush over you all over
Mm-hmm.
again. So
Mm-hmm.
just to be safe, just be
Mm-hmm.
mindful of what you do and just
Yeah.
minimize it. And don't
Absolutely.
post everything. Oh my gosh. That's one thing as well. A lot of times, don't post everything. A lot of
Well,
times, we
there we
expose
go.
ourselves too much to certain things because we expose too much of our personal lives.
That's
It's
right.
always good to have privacy.
That's
I
right.
mean, something that, obviously a lot of people, one thing I exercise is that especially if you're at an event, if you're going to
Mm-hmm.
an event, I recommend that you post pictures or you post your location maybe 10 hours after. Let the people
Yeah.
think you're still there. Let the people still
Exactly.
think you're still there, even though you were at that event 3 days ago. And the
Yeah.
reason why this has happened on multiple occasions, I've heard multiple stories where people end up being killed because they put up their exact location at the
Oh
exact
yeah.
time that they're there,
Yeah.
and then
I'm
people
on
go and kill
vacation.
them.
I'm on vacation, which means that my house is not occupied right now. So if you want to go over there and check and break in and take some stuff, please do. That's what you're doing when you're live posting your vacation
Literally.
status. Okay.
So
Like,
it's
guys,
it's
post when you
best
get back.
that
When you get back
no,
from the vacation,
literally,
post. You know.
it's
Yeah, no,
best to
we
do
can go
that
on
when
forever.
you're
We can go on forever on that point.
really,
Trust
really
me.
be safe. Be
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that in a couple of weeks for sure. All right. Okay, next one. So I got a bonus tip for you.
Ooh.
A bonus tip. And these are, again, I'm going back to my upper schoolers now. Bonus tip is start to think about how you want to show up online. So when we talk about personal branding, there's a component here, largely it's your reputation, right? But as a marketer, and you talk about brand, you want to talk about what does the brand stand for? What's the brand identity, right? And so as an individual who is going to be graduating soon or having graduated already, you're in sixth form, 12th, 13th grade, and you're getting ready now to get into college or even beyond that, the world of work. How you show up online is very, very important. So if you're starting to think about, okay, I want to get into the legal field, or I want to get into financial services, or I want to get into arts and culture, right? Or medicine. How do I show up online that lets people know that that's what I'm about, right? So let's say, Jade, if law was your career aspiration, you said you're the president
That
of the...
is.
Oh, there we go. All right. My husband is a lawyer. So, hey, cool. Yeah, man, I know the lawyer thing work. Trust me. Ooh. Don't argue with a lawyer. But anyway, I digress. But if you want to be, if law is your career aspiration, how does your IG account, let's say if IG is the platform that you most use or you most show up on, what are the things on your IG that tell future colleges, that tell future employers that, man, this girl look like she's a born attorney? You know what I mean? Are you sharing content about your debating competitions, your debating skills, lessons learned in how to debate effectively? You know, are you passionate about a cause that you want to advocate for and you're sharing your journey about that? That's how you're showing up online, and it's coming out in your post because you're posting those things, pictures, reels that tell that story, so that when the universities are assessing your application or employers are looking at your job, I'm telling you, when I'm interviewing people, one of the first things we do for candidates who are shortlisted is we try to find them on social media. How are they showing up on social media? And sometimes hiring or firing decisions can take place based on how somebody looks on social media. If I work at JMMB and JMMB is a brand of love and best interest of all, if I'm looking to hire somebody and I go on their IG account and all they're spewing is anti-Semitic content about marginalized groups of people or who for dead or whatever, I'm not hiring that person, because there's no way that they can represent a brand of love. If that's how they're showing up online, customers are going to see that and they're going to be like, excuse me, no, thank you. So it's so very important to think about, how do I want to show up online? What story am I telling with my content, with my posts, so that the people who I want to attract are attracted to me and there's no misunderstanding about who I am, my identity, and what I represent. So that's a bonus tip. Start thinking about that and reframing your posting and accordingly.
And that's a great bonus tip, honestly. I don't really think I have anything to add because it really just sums it up very nicely.
Yeah,
Just think
it
about
is
what you
what it
want
is.
to do from now, because I think I said this like 5 times already, but it's so important. What you do now impacts you later.
That's right. That's right. Start how you want to finish, right? Start how you want to finish. You want to finish in the law office? Start posting like a lawyer from now. Don't start posting as the little cutesy bunny, you know, wiggling her thing on social media. And then when you try to become a lawyer and you're wondering, how come you're not being taken seriously? I'm sorry, guys. And I know also for some people, this is a contentious topic, but I'm not saying it because that's what necessarily I believe. I'm saying it because that's just how the world works. And especially as women, when I tell you, say, it's harder for a woman to get respect. It's harder for us to get acceptance. And so if we want to get respect and acceptance and believability, we have to show up as that online. And that is how people will treat us. So yeah, not more to say. That's it on that topic.
All right. Thank you so much, Kerry-Ann. So now we're actually putting the focus on the viewers. Do you have any questions? You can simply comment them and we'll read them and comment on
Yeah, I'm not seeing any questions in the live chat. It looks like everybody's just taking notes right now. And because we've been having such a great conversation. But don't
them.
worry, normally our live chat is pretty quiet because I find people are just kind of like, I know when sometimes when I'm watching a live stream, I kind of watch the vibe. And when I see the eyes are watching, but there's not a lot of commenting, there's usually like, oh, wow, they're just digesting. And then when there's a pause, they may just be like, okay, wow, you know, they'll get involved. But I think this has been such a great conversation, Jade. I think we
I
dropped
think
a
so
lot of
too.
nuggets. And again, it's being recorded. So for whomever did not catch the live, they can certainly watch the recording. So please share this video with them. And then also, even if you're watching the replay, still like, still drop a comment and continue to share, because this is a message I think that more people need to hear. I think, you know, we kind of, our parents or our loved ones or a friend, or we just bought a phone and we start to go on social media without the proper guidance and tools to know the impact or the repercussions of what we do and how we use those devices and how we use those platforms. So this is valuable, and I encourage everybody to share it as well. Great. All
Right.
right, the action item. All right.
Google your name now. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
Google your name, right?
I
So
Googled my name actually last week.
what did you see? Tell me, what did you
All right, so
see?
I saw a picture. There's a picture of the head girls, which includes me, Jenny,
Yes,
and Michaela on
yes,
Google.
correct, correct.
I don't
And
remember
I
there
tell you
being
a
anything
secret,
else.
right? I tell you a secret. When I, because it, how you're on this live, confession. It was Janae who said Jade is gonna co-host the next one for you. And I'm like, who is Jade? I wanted to get to know Jade before I even WhatsApped you. And I just went on Google and I Googled your name and I saw that picture. Just like that. Again, you're right. There's not much else. And that's fine because of your age. If you were to Google my name now, because I've done so much more online on platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter and the podcast as well, which does a lot of gives me a lot of reach on social on the World Wide Web generally. So Google will pick stuff up. But why I say Google your name is you want to just see what does the internet have on you, right? You want to see if you're there. Again, if you're in the lower school and you're not there, don't worry about it. You don't need to be there. You don't need to be coming up in Google. And even if you are there, just make sure that what is there about you is solid, okay? But for the upper school now, again, remember you're applying to colleges, you're looking about your career path, Google your name and see where and how you show up. If all the college is seeing and the employer is seeing is you at Zimise and thing, having a drink and chilling, I mean, it's like, where's the substance? Where is the meat? Where's the meat and potatoes? Hello? So Google yourself and do it every 6 months to see if anything shifts. Again, because too, you just want to know if there's stuff out there that's unsavory, but also you just want to keep your finger on the pulse of what the internet has on you and what people are ostensibly seeing and reading about you online. Yeah.
So that's important. I know. I just Googled myself again. All I
Yeah.
got are things from Simply Immaculate
Oh, see, there we
and
go. That's
that
great.
one post from the Gleaner
Yeah.
when they came for the 165th anniversary bus launch, which,
Anniversary.
by the way, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
shamelessly plug.
Uh-huh.
Please, if you haven't donated your 1,000 US already, we still have time. We still
All
have
right.
time.
All
So,
right.
yeah, we would like a bus. We would like a very premium bus. Everything that we do, it's immaculate. It's simply immaculate. We're immaculate in all we do.
Right.
So if you haven't donated, actually, we don't discriminate. It doesn't have to be 1,000 US dollars. It can be
Mm-hmm.
any amount that you have. Just it's the thought that counts, and it's also the money that you put in that counts. So if you haven't done that already, please do so. And shameless plugging, I would really like to experience a bus.
Yes, indeed. That would be great. I won't tell you how our boss looked back then, Bless,
No.
bless their hearts, they tried, but let me tell you. So I'm with you in spirit that yeah, Immaculate needs a new boss. And
We do.
it's time. It's time. And I really applaud you guys for really just taking the reins on that. And I know Saray, her passion to really help drive that campaign has been phenomenal. But to go back to your point, Jade, the whole matter of, as you said, you Google yourself. How you're showing up already is great. You're showing
Thank
up in the
you.
national newspaper. You're in the national newspaper, the number one newspaper in Jamaica. You're there. You're in it. And then now you're on Simply Immaculate. You're showing up on social media. That is going to look attractive to the colleges that you apply to because it shows leadership. It shows involvement in school activities. Those are the things you want to show up on your Google CV, your Google resume. Because anybody can type a resume and send it anywhere and say, yeah, I'm awesome, I'm great. They'll be like, okay, this is nice. We're going to put down this resume and we're going to say what Google Tube says about you, right? And they Google you, or they just go straight to the social media platforms and they search for you. Again, so very important. Be aware of what's online. Change your mindset. Live like the camera is always on. Nothing disappears, and just be cognizant of how you show up in the digital space. or wherever digital is captured, which is basically anywhere outside your house. So yeah, so that's it. I think we've covered it.
Oh, before we end, is there any important takeaway that you believe that the viewers must take? I mean, obviously, everything we said is important, but what's the
Yeah.
key thing that you want all of our immaculate ladies and immaculate other people
Yeah.
to take away from this entire personal branding session?
Yeah. I'll just leave one little phrase that a connection of mine on LinkedIn actually shared on my podcast, and I thought it was so brilliantly kind, and I always repeat it, is that, again, the takeaway from this conversation can be summed up like this. When you talk about how you're showing up online, building your personal brand, managing your reputation from now, the mantra is have fun, but don't be stupid. Right.
Oh,
So we want
plenty.
teenagers to remember that, you're still a teen and you're still going to want to try out stuff. You're still going to want to experience things. You want the room to be able to make a mistake. And I get that. But because of the world we live in, and nothing disappears, anything can be resurfaced or repurposed at a time when it's least convenient and it can negatively impact you. You have to strike the balance between living your life as a teen that's learning and growing and recognizing that you could be caught off guard and fall victim to something that could come that can damage you for probably the rest of your life or many years to come. So the key thing is when going about your life journey, yeah, have fun, but don't be stupid because you could just catch yourself in a situation that your reputation, your brand can never recover from. And we don't want that.
All right, thank you so much, Kerry-Ann, for really going through it. You went in depth, and I don't think we didn't leave anything missing. We didn't leave anything behind, and I'm so glad that you went so in depth so that all
Left
the
no
ladies
crumbs.
and the and obviously all
My 10-year-old would say, Mommy, you left no crumbs. I'm like,
yeah,
oh
you
my
ate
God.
down. You
Hey,
ate down the
down. She said, Mommy,
place.
you
Left
named
no
that. You
crumbs.
named
And
that. I'm
yum.
like, gosh, look at me. I don't believe this. Okay, I'm showing my age now, so let me just mute up.
But yes, thank you so much for really going so in depth and adequately explaining the ins and outs of personal branding as well as social media presence and online presence. It's really greatly appreciated as well as it's something that we really need to foster in our children these days so that we can create more intelligent netizens, which is internet citizens.
That's
That's a
right.
term that's coming now. So yeah.
Medicines. Love it. Love it. Great. Well, Jade, thank you so much. Well, first of all, again, putting back on my big sister officer host hat here, I just really have to thank you, first of all, for volunteering, answering the call to come on and co-host. I know you've been sitting, waiting patiently in the wings for this season to start, but we're here now, and I so appreciate your contribution. You clearly know your stuff. You know where you're headed, and you've made a great impact so far. So I'm just gonna sit back and watch you shine, girl, because you are just gonna kill it and represent.
Hashtag Matt Girl Magic.
Girl, magic girl, we love it, and I know we all can be super proud of you as an alum of our great school.
I
And I'll
thank you
just
so much.
let everybody know that this is the first of 4 episodes of Mac Girl Magic Live. We're going to do 4 episodes between tonight and the end of the term. So this is the first episode. I'm not going to give away all the goods, but I'll tell you what we're doing next week. So next week, Tuesday, same time, 7:30 p.m. Jamaica time. We're going to be talking about health and wellness, physical, mental, and emotional, right? We have 2 other awesome alums who are going to join us. Dr. Philippa Chin, who is a psychologist, and she'll be, of course, covering the mental, emotional part of wellness and health. And we also have another great surprise, Camila McDonald. Camila is a wellness and lifestyle type, well, not lifestyle, more wellness and fitness guru who is on Instagram. She has a large following on IG, great community, is very open and transparent about her journey with wellness and weight loss and diet and exercise, and has just done a phenomenal job of empowering so many people to take control of their physical wellness. And so she'll be coming to talk about it from that perspective. And so we are excited about having this conversation next week, Tuesday. So please, guys, Subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is
Oh,
ICHS
before we end,
Yes.
someone's asking, what's your podcast address?
Oh, bless you. Well, you may find my podcast boring because I don't talk to teens, but if you're into
Oh,
marketing,
actually, this person is my mother.
oh, no, mommy, I hope you're proud of your daughter, because I am low-key over here. Shame said this girl is just tearing it up. And I just feel like, what was I doing in high school? Seriously, I feel like I just warmed the bench. But my podcast, if you just Google it, just go on Google and Google the Internal Marketing Podcast. The Internal Marketing Podcast. If you Google it, it will just show up. It will show up everywhere it is because it's on Apple, it's on Spotify, it has its own website, it's on LinkedIn. So just go, you'll find it, and you can listen to episodes. But it's really for people who are into marketing, who want to market to employees, to help them to be great ambassadors of the brand. So yeah, not a ICHS student kind of a thing, but Mom, I appreciate you for asking. Great. So yes, guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, ICHS Alumni 876. There it is on the screen. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, because whenever we go live or we upload a new video, you're going to get the alert on your YouTube app if that's what you have. And it's great for you to keep abreast of what's happening. So next week, Tuesday, same time, 7:30 p.m., health and wellness for teens. Physical, mental, and emotional. It's going to be just as engaging, just as informative, just as fun. And we are going to have a great time. So, Jade, I think you're frozen, are you? Oh, dear. Well, if you were to be frozen, this is the best time for you to be frozen. Can I tell you? Because we are done. We are done. And sometimes Father Internet doesn't always smile on us. But Father Internet, don't worry, we got in all the great content. So again, I just want to acknowledge Jade for being a part of tonight's conversation, really doing a great job of hosting the discussion and sharing her nuggets of her wonderful journey. And we are going to make sure that we'll continue to have these great, awesome conversations. So tune in again next week, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers.